Crochet for Leftie's channel. Today I am so excited to show you my little candy corn friend. He was created by the Jada and Stitches show that I am following, and I think she is a really great YouTube blogger to follow along just because she does a great job in teaching others how to crochet. And this little guy is the perfect project for Halloween because it is literally just around the corner. So let's head over to the table and I'll show you guys the materials that you need as well as how to follow written pattern and just how to do it for lefties in general. Let's head over and get started.
To begin this project, you will need your pattern, which I did include in the link with my previous video, and that was in the double and treble crochet video. So if you guys need help finding that pattern, the link is included there. For materials, you will need your yarn, and you will need yellow, white, and orange. If you want to add like a little face to it, you will also need a little bit of black. Your hook size, it can either be a 5mm hook or a 5.5mm. I am using the size 5.5 just so that the stitches will be more visible. You will also need a pair of scissors for snipping your yarn, and you will need a regular tapestry yarn needle for reaming in the ends. So now that we've got all of those materials assembled, let's go ahead and start reading the pattern so we can begin our project. So before we even begin this pattern, we want to go up here to the stitch legend and look at the abbreviations. So R is row, ST is stitches, CH is chains, SL is slip stitch, SP is space, CSC is single crochet, and HDC is half double crochet. And these will just be appearing in the candy corn pattern throughout the entire pattern, and this will also be seen in many other patterns. So with row 1, we want to start off with the white yarn, and we are going to make a cinched or a magic circle, and we are going to chain 2 and then 6 half double crochet into that circle. We are then going to pull it shut, and then once we've done that, we are going to slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet that we made. Chain 2, and we should have a total of 6. So, and I will show you what this looks like for row 1. So now that we have our circle, we are going to half double crochet 6 into the circle. So let's turn our hook around so that the tail is facing outward. We are going to half double crochet 6 and then pull it tight to make our circle. So there's 3 loops on our hook. Grab our yarn, pull through. You should have 3 on your hook, and then pull through all 3 loops. I'm going to do that 5 more times, and I am just acting like the 2 strands of yarn are a stitch. Wrap it around, pull through, pull through all 3. And there is our second stitch. So here's our third. Here's our fourth. Five. And 6. So now what you want to do after you completed your 6th stitch, you want to grab your tail like this and pull until it's tight. And there's a circle. So to complete your circle, you want to insert your hook into that very first half double crochet that you made. So this one, right here. And if you hook through that, you have your 2 V's on your hook. Yarn over, pull through, and you've got your circle. There is your circle. And you should have 6 all the way around. So you want to go back and count them to make sure you have 6. Okay, we're ready for row 2. Okay, so we are now ready to start row 2. Row 2 is half double crochet to the same stitch as the joining. And then we are going to half double crochet once into the next stitch. So if you can see here in the parentheses, this is going to be the pattern that we are going to follow throughout this entire row until we get to the last or the full stitch. So we are going to 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, and then we are going to half double crochet into the next 2 stitches once. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how that looks like, or what that looks like. So let's go ahead and chain 2. So there's 2. And now we are going to half double crochet into that stitch where we chained. So right there, there's our half double crochet. And then we are going to half double crochet once into the next, into the next stitch. So there is our next stitch. We're just going to half double crochet into that. Into the third stitch, we are going to half double crochet twice. So there's 1, and 2. Looking at the pattern, we are then going to half double crochet into the next stitch once, So here is our next half double crochet. And then into the next stitch, we are going to half double crochet twice, just as the pattern says. So here is our next stitch. 1, and 2, and finally we are going to half double crochet into that last stitch to complete our pattern. And this is sometimes called the false stitch because it is right next to the chain 2. And for this pattern we are ignoring that chain. So once you've completed that last stitch, you should go back and count the number of stitches that you have. And if you look at the pattern, the number that you should have at the end of row 2 is 10. And those are in the parentheses. So once you've counted and you've joined your stitch, we would go ahead and start row 3. And that would be our last row of white. Row 3, the pattern is half double crochet in the same stitch as the joining, just as we've been doing for each row. And this time, for each of the next 2 stitches, we will half double crochet once. And then if you look at the parentheses, this will be the pattern that we will be following all the way until we hit that false stitch. And then we finish off row 3 with a slip stitch with the top of the first half double crochet. And the total number that we should have is 12. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do row 3. So to wrap the yarn around, go into that same stitch as the joining and do a half double crochet. In the next 2, you do a half double crochet once. And into that third one, you do 2 half double crochets. And you're just going to repeat that pattern all the way until you reach that false stitch. Don't worry if you don't have the exact amount of stitches. The main point of this pattern is that you get the whole shape. So the next 2 is once, and then that third, you should do 2 half double crochets into that same stitch. There's 1, 2, and you should do 1 more, and then into the false stitch you're going to half double crochet once. And when you're done with the row, you slip stitch into the top of that first chain you made, and then you fasten off, and you're done with the white. So you fasten off with a slip stitch, and then you can just cut that yarn. And then we will start row 4, which will be adding in our new color. So there's the top of your little candy corn. So in order to change the color in your pattern, you want to grab the yarn for your nest, for the body of your candy corn, and now it's orange. And what you want to do is take your yarn, make a slip knot. You should already know how to make a slip knot. And then you want to take your little cone, cut the tail on this side, take your hook, insert it into the back where the knot is, like so. Grab your yarn, pull through, and then form the chain. And that is how you join your new yarn to your pattern. So you want to chain one to secure it, and then chain another one and form the chain for your half double crochets. And what I like to do is chain over the 2 strands of yarn, but you don't have to do that. You can just take your tapestry needle and weave it in. Okay, so for rows 4 through 6, we will be repeating the same pattern that we did for increasing our little cone. But for row 4, we will be doing a half double crochet into the next 3. And then in the 4th, we will just do 2 half double crochets into that same stitch. For row 5, that's similar. We will be half double crocheting into each of the next 4. And then into the 5th, we will just be doing 2 half double crochets into 1 stitch. Row 6 is almost the same, but we added on another one. We're going to be half double crocheting into each of the next 5. And then in the 6th stitch, we will be doing 2 half double crochets. And then we will fasten off. And then if you want, you can weave in the ends. And then for row 7, we will join with the yellow and then continue on with the pattern then. And I will show you for row 7 how you do that. But for row 4, I will show you the pattern, and then I will let you guys go, and you guys can just do row 5 and row 6. Alright, so for row 4, I am going to half double crochet into the same stitch where I did my 2 chains, just like we were doing for the last 3 rows. So there is my first half double crochet. And then I'm going to do 1 half double crochet into the next 3. So there's 1, And if you would notice, I am working over the strands of yarn just so that I don't have to weave them in with my tapestry needle at the end. But you guys don't have to do that if it's too hard. So there's one, there's two, and number 3. So into the next stitch, we are going to half double crochet twice into the same stitch, and that will be increasing our row. So in this stitch, I am going to, this one right here, I am going to half double crochet twice. So there's one, come on, there we go. There's one, and there is 2. And then I'm going to half double crochet into the next 3 once. And I'm going to repeat that all the way until the end of row 4. And after row 4, I'm going to let you guys go, and then you guys can follow along the pattern and do rows 5 and 6. And then on row 7, I'll show you guys how to do the joining again, the joining of a new color. So I'm just going to count again. There's 2 right there, there's 1, 2, oh boy, here we go, there we go, 2, 3, and then half double crochet twice into that one. So there's 1, and 2, and then half double crochet once into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then we join with a slip stitch at the top of the first half double crochet that we did. And then you would have completed row 4. So there's my last one. And then I'm going to join it with a slip stitch at the top. So there is row 4, and it's already looking like a little cone. So that's exciting. So I'm going to let you guys go and come back to when I've got row 6 done. And then I will show you how to do row 7. Okay, so row 7 is our last row of increasing, and that is where we are going to join with our yellow. And that will complete our little cone. And then the last 2 rows we aren't going to increase in the round. We are just going to single crochet in each to form the body. So this is what your work should be looking like after you did your 3 orange rounds. And it's so exciting because it is starting to look like a candy corn. Okay, to begin row 7, you want to grab your yellow yarn and make a slip knot. This is going to be the same method that we did when we were joining our orange color. We want to grab our cone, turn it around where the inside is facing us. There we go. Have our tail pointing that way. Take our hook and do it inside to the back of the knot. We want to hook our yellow, pull through, tighten our knot, yarn over and chain 1. You have just joined your yellow yarn. And so now we are ready to complete our last row increase. Chain 2, and half double crochet into that same stitch where you just chain 2. There we go. And like I did with the 2 strands before with our orange yarn, orange and white yarn, I am going to be crocheting over my orange and yellow yarn. But you guys don't have to do this, as I said before, and just weave in your ends using the tapestry needle. So now we are going to half double crochet into the next stitch. And then in the 7th, we will half double crochet twice. And then we're going to repeat that pattern all the way until the 4th stitch. And that will be the end of row 7. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and you always want to go back and double count the number of stitches that you have. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 5, and 6. And so into the 7th, we are just going to half double crochet twice. And then I will let you guys go and meet you at the end of the row. So there's 1, and 2. So I think you guys get the gist of the pattern. So I'm going to let you guys go and meet you at the end of the row, and then we will continue on to rows 8 and 9. Here I am at the end of row 8, so I am just going to finish my last 2 half double crochets into those 2 stitches. So there's 1, and there's the last one. And then I'm just going to complete my round with a slip stitch into that first half double crochet that we did. So this one right here. and there is row 8. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go so you guys can complete row 9, and I'll meet you back here to form the bottom. Okay, this is looking pretty impressive because your unicorn is now complete. But because it is a toy, it needs a bottom. So, yeah, you can see that it's got an empty space inside, so it needs a bottom. So what we are going to do in order to make the bottom is make a circle. And we are going to be doing that with the sensed or the magic circle method. So let's grab the yellow yarn and I'll show you guys how to do the bottom. To begin the bottom of your candy corn, you want to make a magic ring, and then you want to half double crochet 8 times into the 2 strands and into the circle. And then you want to pull your tail shut to where it forms a nice little circle. And I'll go ahead and show you guys how to start your half double crochets, and then I'll meet you when I'm done. So, you want to yarn over, underneath the 2 strands, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn over, and then pull through all 3. There's the first half double crochet for that row. And then I'm just going to do 2 more for demonstration, and then pause the video and let you guys finish out your 8 stitches. Your 8 half double crochets. So there's 3. So I'm going to let you guys go on and finish your 8 half double crochets into that circle. Row 2, we are going to half double crochet into the same stitch as the joining, and then we are going to 2 half double crochet into each stitch around. And then we are going to half double crochet into that false stitch and then join with a slip stitch to the top of the first half double crochet. And then we should have a total of 16 at the end of our row. And then once we've done all of that, we will chain 1. Row 3 is our last row that we are going to be doing for the bottom of the candy horn. And the stitch that is different in this row is that we are going to be single crocheting instead of half double crocheting. So we are going to be single crocheting into the same stitch as the joining, and we are going to single crochet into the next stitch once. And then if you look at the parentheses, we are going to 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and then single crochet into the stitch right after that once. And we are going to be doing that 7 times until we reach the false stitch. Then we join with the slip stitch to the top of that first single crochet, and we should have a total of 24 stitches. And once we are done with that row, we are going to fasten off and then leave a long tail for sewing into our little candy horn. Here I am at the end of row 3, and I'm going to single crochet once into that false stitch, and that brings me to a total of 24. So now what you want to do is skip that little chain that's right there and go into the next stitch, wrap the yarn, and finish off your row with a slip stitch. So grab your scissors and snip off a long strand of tail so that you can weave in your end to your candy corn. Grab your needle, weave the end through it. Once you've fastened off your tail, and then I will show you guys how to weave in your bottom. So there's my tail, grab my yarn needle, and we can start weaving our tail into the bottom of our candy corn after we've stuffed it. So now that you are done with your candy corn body and you have stuffed your candy corn, you want to take the bottom of the circle that you made and place it over the bottom of your candy corn and start weaving it in. And as you can see, I have aligned the stitches next to each other so that when I weave them, they will not show. And this would just be just in and out all the way through until you reach the other side. Then you just thread the rest of it through and then snip your yarn off. So this is what our candy corn looks like after weaving in all of the tails and the stuffing and everything like that. And I will say I am pretty impressed with how this little guy turned out. And as I stated earlier, if you want to add little eyes and a mouth to make them look like this little guy, then you can just use black yarn or beads in order to do that. And that's pretty simple to do. So I hope you guys had fun making this project, and I hope to see you all again next week. So goodbye!